Johnny and Mac by the railroad track, the world's largest, and that's a fact.
What?
This is the Greg Cote Show with Greg Cote.
Pardon it.
Here's your host, Greg Cote.
Okay, we got a special guest today. Jessica's joining us, Jessica Smetana. But first, we're recording this Friday, and we both just listened to Pat Riley's Year of the Godfather, Heat President Pat Riley's Year of the End, End of the Year.
Year of the End.
I know, that's a
what's going on with you today? I want to let the audience know, before the show, we were on me and you talking on the phone, and all of a sudden, I'm clearly on speaker, and all of a sudden you sound so distant. And I'm like, Dad, hello. And all of a sudden, then you come back 10 seconds later laughing. You just walked away from your phone. You were like in the bathroom, continuing the conversation. And then I heard you getting mad at me. Right. You're like in the distance being like, why aren't you talking?
Right.
And it's you just walked away from your phone.
I know. My phone was in the office. I walked into the middle bathroom, and you could barely hear me talking, and I thought the phone was with me, and it wasn't. And you have a habit of like multitasking. You're all of a sudden distracted, and so I'm going, Christopher, hello, and you're there, but this time you weren't there because you were in the other room. So it's my fault. Anyway, so what I heard from Pat Riley was a guy in love with Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo as his big two guys, and ready to just build around them. I heard a guy ready to tweak, not a guy ready to go out and make a big move.
Mike Ryan on the Le Batard Show last week said, I want him to apologize when he speaks. He's like, Riley's still my guy. He can stay as long as he wants, but he needs to acknowledge how bad it is right now. And he did not do that. He's like, we're in a good spot in terms of flexibility with draft picks and money. And he was painting a picture that a lot of Heat fans are not looking at.
No, it was a little disappointing particularly in the wake of coming off a record-setting, terrible blowout series loss against Cleveland. I think he needed to say something different. Hey, look who's there.
Yeah.
Hi.
Wow, exciting.
Jess, we were just reacting to Pat Riley not painting a picture that the Heat fans are looking. He just did his press conference, and he thinks Bam and Tyler, you can build around it. He thinks they're close. It was not like Mike Ryan wanted him to say, I'm sorry, and he did not.
So you had me on to talk about the Miami.
No. We were honestly trying to do this. We were like, she's going to be here at 2:30. So like, let's try to get this in first, but here you are. So
right.
Well, I love that they're running it back. That makes for great content for the Le Batard Show.
It really does. Yeah, because they the way the season ended was so great that just tweak and fiddle, and you'll be fine. Yeah. Jessica, I wanted to have you on because I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, and I know you've made a big career move. I was hoping you would call me from live in Times Square to really get the ambiance of everything you love so much about New York, but you appear to be just in a room that could be anywhere.
It could be anywhere. I am actually not in New York right now. I'm still in transit to New York. We haven't moved into our apartment yet. So I'm in the South. I actually have plans when we're finished recording on this wonderful, beautiful Friday to go fishing with Lehman. And we're going to be fishing for some bull reds. So fingers crossed we catch some. This is an
audio medium mainly, but we are on YouTube. And I just wanted to, what's going on behind you? Is that a dresser blocking a doorway?
No, it's a TV actually.
Okay, that's a TV. My bad. Okay.
And if I were to turn my camera around, you would see Willow right now licking her foot.
Okay.
And my other little doggy sleeping. So I have a great view. Yeah. You don't get as good of.
I was just like, from my angle, it looked for a second like you just had something blocking a doorway.
I'm just glad the dog was licking his foot, because knowing dogs as I do, sometimes they lick things that are not their feet.
Greg, do you know why? Do you know why dogs do that?
No.
Because they can.
I set you up for that one. Okay, I know nothing about fishing. What the hell is a bull red?
I think they're big redfish. Yeah. The bull, I think means like they're big. I don't know. So I just repeat the things people say, and I probably get it slightly wrong every time. But there's these redfish and you can eat them, put them on the grill, whatever. They're delicious. And we're going fishing for those. I think you have to get them within a certain length and then you can keep them. Right. Because there's some fish, the little ones you're supposed to throw back. And then if they're too big, they're like breeder fish and you have to throw those back. So you have to find like the right size fish. And I think this is one of those fish. Right. But again, I'm just going to do what I'm told. I'm not out there making decisions about the fish. I'm just going to hold my little fishing reel. Yes, and if I get a little tug, I'm going to like scream until someone comes and helps me.
Okay. There's two things in my life that when people talk about it, I just nod along and say, it's fishing and cars. Like if people are like, yeah, my lug nut got caught in the radiator, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I definitely know what those are.
For sure.
So like she could have said any two words and I would have just been like, that's a great fish. You should get a lot of those.
Okay. Just for your future edification, it is literally impossible for a lug nut to get caught in a radiator.
Well, that's good to know.
Well, lug nut's a real thing, Chris. So you already
I know. Those are real words. I'm just saying I couldn't point out any of them.
So Jessica, why did you want to move from Miami to New York?
Do you want a real answer? Or do you want like a shtick answer?
Yeah,
I would give
us something we can put out on Sunday. Like, whoa, can you believe she said that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
I was wanted in the state of Florida. I'm just kidding. Okay. Honestly, Greg, because Lehman and I both, work in media, have hopefully long media careers ahead of us, fingers crossed. And we both wanted to be back in the city where he grew up and his family is, and all of our friends still live. And also it's just a better media market too. So it was kind of our home. We lived in Miami I lived there for 4 years. Lehman lived there for like 3.5 or 4, I would say 2.5 years, because he didn't move down right away. So New York is still home for us. So we're just kind of moving back home.
Now, you don't have to be kind in the following question, because keep in mind, I don't live in Miami and never have. Right. So if you didn't like Miami, I would be interested in hearing why that was.
I would say I have a lot of things that I liked about Miami and a lot of things I hated about Miami, and it's pretty even. Like I'm pretty neutral, I would say. Neutral leaning negative, because I would say the most negative thing about Miami.
Can I guess? I can play this game.
You already know what it is. There's two things. Yeah, you already know what they both are.
I think I got both of them.
Tell me.
Because I know either.
Jess. I know Jess.
Okay.
Traffic.
Yes.
And no season changes.
Yeah, close. Yes. The traffic for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. I hate driving so much, and I hate having to drive to do literally everything.
Oh, just so having to drive as much as the traffic.
But also, it's one thing when you have to drive in a place where it's kind of chill and you just like go where you're going and get there. It's not chill at all. It's the opposite of chill. And then finding parking, you got to pay to park at like Publix. Like everything is just, it's a nightmare. Anyways, but also to your point about the change of seasons, it's not just that there's no change of seasons. It's just that like from usually like May 1st until October 1st or maybe even later, it's just miserable. It's
interesting. Your timing of this move. Interesting.
I was like, I can't do another summer in Miami. I just can't do it. It's not, I don't have it in me. I don't have that dog in me right now.
Speaking of which, how did Willow react when you broke the news that the family would be moving 2,000 miles north?
She took it pretty hard. I think she's going to miss a lot of her friends. We had a couple friends in the Grove where we lived the last like year-ish and change that we were in Miami. Right. They found out on social media that she was moving, and they wrote back to me and were like, wow, my dogs are going to be devastated that Willow's gone. So I think she is going to miss some of her friends. But you know what? She's got a lot of friends she made in New York City when she was a puppy that still live there that she's going to see as soon as we're back. And she's going to be so excited. So we are looking forward to that. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think she'll recognize, like after a few years, that's like half a lifetime for a dog. Will she recognize her old friends?
I think she will. Dogs are very they're way smarter than we give them credit for.
Smell. She'll remember the smell.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Living with a dog. But one thing I've found about taking Charlie to the dog park recently is that there's two kinds of dogs: the dogs that sniff other dogs' butts, and the dogs whose butts are sniffed by other dogs. Not to ask too personal a question, but where does Willow fit in that
Yeah, she does the sniffing. She does not like to have her butt sniffed.
Yeah.
If I were to describe her dog park habits, I would say she enjoys being chased, but she doesn't like getting caught. She likes when other dogs chase her around.
Right.
In circles. And she's sort of like, she's very, very fast. She sort of runs like a corner or like maybe like a wide receiver. Like she sort of like makes cuts and stuff. Like she runs routes. But I would say, I say corner. Oh. That's actually a good question. Let me think about it. I would say probably Joey Porter Jr. because sometimes making illegal contact down the field. And I'm like, you can't put your paws there, Willow. But she... I say cornerback because she plays defense a lot. You know, like she's sort of the one defending the person playing and making sure they don't get whatever toy is being thrown her way. So she's a very athletic dog.
Jess, I want to ask you how this move affects where do fans see you now? Are you still going to be in the shipping container occasionally, or are you still doing stuff for Meadowlark? Christopher probably knows all this, but I don't, and I think a lot of listeners don't. So how has your career changed, not just the personal move?
I have a few career things coming down is it the Greg, is it the pike or the pike?
I think it's the pike. Yeah,
pike,
and it's always coming down the pike.
Down the pike.
But
never going up
we also,
the pike.
some things go down pipelines, but that's more coaching and stuff. And
this is a pike.
Okay.
But I can't, Greg, I will give you the scoop when I'm ready to give the scoop.
Okay.
However,
something was already announced.
Was it?
I thought I saw something on social media about something you might be doing. I'm not going to say anything. I don't know anybody.
If it's on social media, then
I never talked to anybody. Some Vice Sports thing.
That did get announced. That was embargoed, Chris. So
I never talked to anybody. I just saw it online.
Whenever someone says something's embargoed, I'm like, I'm never going to talk about this just in case I get the date of the embargo wrong.
We can cut this.
No,
we're not live.
It's been released. Yeah, I filmed a television show for Vice Sports that's coming out in June. I believe the middle of June. So that's exciting. But also some other things down the pike, Greg. And in the meantime, yes, I do intend to still be a part of the Le Batard Show. Chris, let me know what day next week I should be coming on the show.
The schedule's coming out tomorrow, so on Saturday. You know how we do.
But yeah, Greg, it's not going to be like, the last 4 years where week in and week out, I'm sitting back there next to Jer Bear and Tony and Mike. We're not quite going to be up to that level anymore, but I am excited about this, transition. I think it should work.
I think it could end up being like a Pablo type relationship where she pops up like for a full hour, like regularly.
Yes, that's what we have. That's what we discussed.
I'm not allowed to ask any questions that would be the least bit.
Oh, shut up! That's why you wanted her on. He just wanted to do this. He's like,
he wants a headline. I know.
Yeah, he just.
Well,
Jessica speaks out on her recent move. I'm telling you, he thought it was a full career. My dad was like, she's switching careers. I'm like, Dad, she's like,
I'm going to law school now.
Yes,
moving. Like maybe she'll be a little less with the show. Like she's still in this space. Like what?
I don't know anything. I don't know. I'm not in the orbit like you are. I was going to ask her, is it true that Le Batard can be a pain in the ass to work with and you're leaving because,
Dad, I feel like you know that as much as anybody.
Because it was so nerve-wracking to be in his presence and the shipping container wasn't as much fun as I thought it would be. But see, I'm not going to ask any of that stuff because Christopher would be nervous.
I would say I've been very honest and truthful both on the Le Batard Show and Mystery Crate about some of the experiences working for Dan specifically.
Oh yeah.
I would say, there's been times where things have been chaotic. And sometimes in a creative space, chaos can be helpful, right?
That's true.
Sometimes in a creative space, chaos can be chaos for the sake of chaos. I would say
it's been a chaotic time.
Yeah.
Greg,
I've worked at like 3 sort of startup-y media companies. Like Sports Illustrated wasn't really a startup, but had like the department I worked at had like a lot of the same startup issues that the other 2 jobs I had. So it's not a media startup, but it sort of was a weird transition period when I worked at SI. So I'll put it in the same category. But it's like a lot of these companies have a lot of similar issues where it's like, how do you be creative and stay interesting, but also not put like a ton of restrictions on people? I think sometimes and I know you're a writer too, so I think you sort of get it, right? Like the more restrictions you have, the harder it is to do what you like, to have the voice you want in your column. However, some people work better with structure and actually need that. I'm someone that does tend to need a little bit more structure. I mean, I was talking to another producer earlier today where I was like, I have full producer brain, even though I'm not really like a technical producer at all. Like anytime I get an email and I have like a thing I have to do, it becomes a calendar event immediately. Like I have to think that way. And I would say there were times where like that would be frustrating working with the show where I'm like, I need to know what days I'm in the office this week. I just need to know that. And I don't know that. And like you guys are in the same boat, but otherwise, like I'd say, there's days where working for the Le Batard Show is like a lot of fun and it's great and it feels awesome, and you leave and you're like, I laughed so hard today and I had a great time. And then there's other times where it feels the complete opposite of that. I think the goal is to have more of the good days than the bad days, but obviously, there's going to be bad days sometimes. So
well, the thing is, sometimes it feels like a joyride and sometimes it feels like business, because when you're in there, like, and Christopher's going to edit the next part of this out. I just know he is. But I mean, this past week alone, John Skipper leaves the company.
All right, maybe we are going to edit this out.
And Barrett Sports reports that Stugatz is going to be on a little bit less than he used to be.
Stugatz is going to be working 3 days a week. Man, they've really been keeping up with the show. If they think that's a news report.
Yeah, that's okay.
Stugatz is going to be working more. I'm glad. 3 days a week with Stugatz is an uptick.
There you go. It is. And the downside of all that is that I may be in twice a week regularly now instead of once
Greg's
a week.
like, oh, wait, what?
Still not getting paid.
Look, I'll say this. Me moving back to New York would have happened regardless of anything else that happened. It was sort of like a matter of when. Like, would I have rather moved like a year ago? Like, if that were an option, I would have. It became an option more recently. And so, like, that has nothing to do with the other two things.
Pasha and Jessica have nothing to do with each other.
Okay. Well, congrats on your move, and
thanks, Greg.
I'm glad because I know you're happy about it. And before we let you go, I wanted to ask you whether you're a Chicago girl, right?
Oh my God, are we talking Pope?
Yeah.
What a week! I mean, for me personally,
Pope Leo. What does that mean to you and your family?
The prayers.
Yeah. Oh my God. I keep the jokes coming. Greg, when I tell you, I was at the farmer's market Thursday when white smoke came out of the chimney at the Sistine Chapel. And I immediately stopped what I was doing. I was like, I can't remember the last time I did this, but I was like, I have to turn on the news. So I put like ABC on my YouTube TV app. And I'm just wandering around the farmer's market with my head down, looking at my phone, like waiting for the Pope to come out. So finally they announced that the Pope's coming out, and it's Roberto whatever in Italian, and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. And then the ABC people are like, he's American. So I'm like repeating what I'm hearing out loud to my parents. I'm like, he's American, and my dad's like, no, he's not. And I was like, they said he's from Chicago, and my dad's like, no, he's not. And I'm like, I swear to God, like complete disbelief. I mean, my parents are obviously like, they're way more they're practicing Catholics. They go to church every Sunday and everything.
Excellent.
But they were just like, no, he's not. He's not from Chicago. That's not true. Nope, he's not American. They were like, didn't believe me. And then I'm like, they said he's a Cubs fan. And my dad's like, no, he's not.
Yeah. Well, that turned out to be true though, right?
Turned out it was true. But in the meantime, like my phone was blowing up. All my friends, mostly not even Catholic friends, like not Notre Dame friends or high school friends or anything. They're like, what the hell's going on? Like, that was quick. I thought this took like a week. It's been like a day and a half and they already have a Pope. And I was like, well, they knew what they wanted. So
I was going to say, does that mean he was popular? I don't know how this works.
I don't exactly know. I don't think so it was like the fourth vote, which I guess is sort of in line with Francis's conclave and Benedict's conclave. So I don't think it was that shocking, but they really could have dragged it out. I think if they dragged it out, the ratings would have been, because the girlies were standing all the different Cardinals on TikTok and Twitter, and like this was the biggest conclave of my life for sure. So, and the movie just came out. All the Cardinals were watching the movie. Apparently, the Pope watched Conclave. before conclave, which is crazy. But anyways, Greg, my phone was blowing up. Everyone, and then like the Chicago memes, Portillo's, Malort, everything. Oh, it was what a day. What this means for the leadership of the Catholic Church, I don't have a clue. I don't know.
Right.
Doesn't matter. What it means for the memes, though, I mean, just gonna be. I told Lee, I was like, this could be the last conclave of our young adulthood. You know, there may not. He's pretty young, 69 years old. Nice. He could end up being the Pope well into our 40s and 50s. Right. So, you know, get the jokes off now, because he's gonna be in there probably for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking here. He was born at Mercy Hospital
where my grandfather used to work. My grandfather was a chemist at Mercy Hospital. Nice. So as soon as this happened, every Chicago person realized they're like 1 degree of separation from the Pope. Right. So that was my 1 degree, I guess 2 degrees of separation from the Pope, because you know Chicago is like the biggest small town in America.
Well, he was born in you may have heard this, born in a little suburb called Dolton.
Yes.
Like, what is Dolton? Dolton's got to be the most popular suburb in Chicago right now.
Oh, it's crazy. Like the school where he grew up going to, you know, I guess like elementary school is a Catholic school called St. Mary's, which has been closed for the last, I don't know how long, over a decade, I believe. And I was reading one article that I read was like, there's going to be a shrine there now because the Pope was born there. And then, oh my God, when I found out he went to Villanova, I mean, that was crazy, because I was like, Lee, there's your Knicks connection. He's a Nova Nick.
Yeah.
Tibbs is going to try to find a way to put him in the game on Saturday against the Celtics.
I love seeing like Thibodeau have to speak on the Pope being from Villanova. He's just like,
so ridiculous.
That's funny.
Tibbs was like, "Can you give me 48 minutes?"
Yeah.
By the way, there's a baseball war over the Pope's allegiance, because
it's the White Sox. I think it's been ended. Because
the Cubs claim him, but apparently the Pope's own brother say that he's a Sox guy.
Well, the Cubs, this was very embarrassing. So this is, you know, ABC really screwed up, because I heard on ABC after the Pope came out and we all saw who the Pope was, they said he's, you know, a Cardinal from Chicago, was in Peru for a long time, and he's a Cubs fan. So I blurted that out to everyone standing around me at the farmer's market. And then, you know, the Cubs put he's a Cubs fan on their marquee, and they tweeted it out. And then lo and behold, a few hours later, his brother was doing interviews all day. Apparently his house was being swarmed by press. So they ask him, and he says, no, he's a White Sox fan. His mom was our mother was a Cubs fan, but we grew up on the South Side, so we're White Sox fan. Then there was a picture of him at Kaminsky Park back in the day. So I think it's been established. There was also another report where apparently the newly elected Pope had texted someone texted him, like a friend, priest friend, Cubs or Sox, and he replied Sox, apparently. So he's a White Sox fan.
Yeah.
But very embarrassing for the Cubs, very embarrassing for ABC. I don't know how that's a huge mistake to make. And they should print a retraction. They should be embarrassed.
What's the salary for a Pope?
I couldn't tell you. I don't think they have a vow of poverty. I think that's a misconception about priests, but they definitely live. Well, Francis was one of the reasons he was, you know, beloved by a lot of people, was that he sort of like gave up a lot of the frills of popehood. So
it says that he does not really get his traditional salary. Instead, the Vatican covers all Pope's living expenses, housing, food, travel, necessities.
And Pope Francis lived in like a smaller, you know, residence than like the main Vatican residence where the Pope traditionally lives. He didn't wear the big frock when he came out on the balcony. So I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense. He probably is not getting a
He just wanted the Pope mobile. That's the only reason he ran. You know, that beautiful golf cart with the
Chris is zoning out because he's like, you mentioned a car. I don't understand cars.
Okay. No, I know the one with the glass on it. This one,
I love that thing.
That thing's sick.
I would love that.
We should make a Greg mobile.
Yeah,
we should. Thank you. Get on that, Christopher. Get on that. Just before we let you go,
Dad, you keep doing this thing with guests where you do before we let you go. This is the last thing. Like, this is it.
No, there's one more thing, and then the last thing.
Oh my God!
I promise. The last thing is going to be you get to participate in our herb countdown, which is on number 10. So we're in the top 10 now. But before that, I want to play a little game with you two. Okay. Here's the premise, and I have all the stats here. In 2005, I'm going to name. There were the top boy baby names and girl baby names in 2005, the most popular, right? 20 years later, now What are the names from 2005? Boy, if I introduced this terribly.
I'm still following.
Okay, what are the names from 2005 that were really popular that have descended the most in popularity 20 years later?
Okay. I'm going to guess.
Okay, you each get one guess for a boy's name and one guess for a girl's name.
Can I go first?
Yep.
Jessica and Christopher.
Okay, Christopher, what are your guesses?
That's good. I'll go Matthew and Sarah.
Okay. Jess had one of them right.
Jessica?
And your own name is one of those names.
We don't make them anymore.
Wow. You don't make, and the other four furthest falling girl baby names in 20 years are Megan, Caitlin, Jennifer, and Alexis.
Wow.
And the 5 furthest falling boys' names are Aiden, Brandon, Gavin, Tyler, and Kevin.
Wow.
I feel like Aiden, Kevin is an old name.
Aiden's definitely because of Sex in the City. No one wants to have an Aiden.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
After Carrie cheated on him, it was like, and he took her back. I mean, it was a mess.
Yeah.
I have no idea about any of that.
Dad, you've always, I know what you're talking about. You, Dad, have an obsession with name popularity. I feel like every year we do a version of this topic.
I'm obsessed with it too. It tells you so much about like what's going on. I feel like all of the popular baby names now, I saw a list recently, are similar to like your daughter's name, Gracelyn or like Ashlyn, but they all have like extra consonants in them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's right.
What does that mean? What does that say about why what we're naming our children? I don't know, but it's fascinating.
It's chaos right now in the name game.
and by the way, Jess, don't feel too bad that your name has descended in popularity because Greg peaked in about 1968. So
we're not making Gregs anymore. Oh no, man,
almost nice. All right, herb of the week. This is big, Jess. Do you know about this?
I do. Yes, there were 17 herbs.
Oh, it's the top 20 herbs of all time, and I believe we're about to get into the top half.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I have to do the entire countdown because Christopher demanded it.
That's okay.
Okay,
I'm excited.
Play the imaging.
The Greg Cote Show with Greg Cote presents Greg Cote's Top 20 Herbs. Here's Greg Cote with your Herb of the Week.
Okay, number 20, Acmella oleracea, the toothache plant. Number 19, Hall of Fame cornerback Herb Adderley. Number 18, non-irradiated bay leaves.
Non-irradiated.
Number 17, 30th U.S. President Herb Hoover. Number 16, 1960s movie about a VW race car, Herb the Love Bug. Number 15, jazz pianist Herb Hancock. Number 14, Aaron Rodgers' favorite hallucinogen, ayahuasca. Number 13, 60s and 70s TV actor Herb Edelman. Number 12, the king of herbs, basil. Number 11, the miracle man, U.S. Olympic hockey coach Herb Brooks.
Wait, wouldn't the king of herbs be higher than 12?
It's my list.
Okay.
All right, well, what's number 10? I'm excited. What's number 10?
And now entering the top 10, at number 10, the prominent, this is in honor of Michael's wedding. The prominent herb traditionally associated with weddings or marriage, symbolizing remembrance, fidelity, and long-lasting love.
Any guesses, Jess?
Ooh,
I have no clue. Know. I just saw your face. I thought maybe you had a guess.
I don't know.
No? Hint. It's also great with steaks and potatoes.
Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Wow, my Grammy's name.
Is that right?
Jessica.
Really?
Other Grammy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one. Okay.
Yeah. This one has no connection to the Pope.
Okay. Rosemary, that's a good get by you.
Yeah. Wow. Great herb.
Wow.
Glad it cracked the top 10. It's very it's a hardy herb. You ever plant a rosemary bush? They grow like crazy.
Do they really?
Oh yeah. Rosemary and mint.
Wow. I like that they're like a stalk, like a wooden stalk, and it's beautiful. Like I like to present over a steak, like a ribeye steak right off the grill. Yeah, with some
butter. Yeah.
Yeah, or like a rosemary butter. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Who's the cornerback that's number 19?
Herb Adderley.
I really want to get that guy on, or I need to get like somebody telling him that he's number 19 on Greg Cote's top 20 herbs of all time.
We should do that.
His reaction to that. If he's still with us, I don't know. He might not.
Well, that would be a close call because he was a defensive star of the Green Bay Packers in like the late 60s. So he would be a guy who was well into his 70s by now. So we'll check him out. But enough about that. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Good seeing you again.
I know. Miss you guys. Chris, book me on the show. I'll see you next week.
Okay.
We really got into some deep sports here. I like the sports we covered here. This was good.
All right. Say hello to Lehman and Willow for me.
I will. Oh, they're sleeping right now. It's so cute.
Well, wake them up. Say hello.
Not Lehman, just Willow.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
See you.
That was fun.
Well, thank you, Jessica Smetana. Jess, a person I like, and I miss seeing her when I'm in there once or twice a week.
I'm pretty sure she rarely worked on Tuesdays.
I would see her occasionally. Usually in the makeup room, and I ain't making that up because
this is good. You're trying to make the Jess is not here anymore. We recorded that days ago, but you're trying to give the episode synergy. I like that.
Okay, yeah, I like that too. I did something last night. We're recording this Sunday morning. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all our moms listening. Really appreciate you. It's Mother's Day weekend here in my house. So your mother and I went to, I would say, the fanciest, most expensive restaurant I've ever been to in my entire life.
What is up with you guys? You guys really have just become like, oh, this is expensive. Let's go do that.
Well, we're spending our kids' inheritance.
I know.
Okay,
relax is what I'm saying. Like you guys are just become like these like extravagant like the suites that you have in these cruises. Like
okay,
like
this we went to
get back to being a normal person.
Okay, we went to a restaurant last night called Mas, which I thought was spelled M-A-S, like more in Spanish.
That's what it should be called if it's the most expensive place you ever been.
Know, but it's Mas spelled M-A-A-S-S. It's in the Four Seasons Hotel.
Of course it is.
It recently got a Michelin star. And so we sat at the chef's table, which is like the top place you can say. And
you guys are so
obnoxious.
You're so obnoxious.
It was like $375 per person. Plus your mother ordered like a wine thing, which was like, it was great. It was fantastic. Yeah. It was one of these little plates, and there's like 12 courses, but they're all little plates and caviar involved. And it was just terrific. And also we met someone who's a big fan of ours, a big fan of the show, and his wife knew your mother from having worked with her in the legal setting years earlier. So it was kind of a cool evening. We sat next to them. They were at the same table as us. So
not to like, he might end up listening to this, but that sounds awful.
No, it was great.
Like just because like he was like, I love meeting people, but like I've had a couple times where like you're like sitting next to them, and then all of a sudden it's like you like to have an interaction and then go about your night, and it's just like all of a sudden you're sitting next to a person. Well,
this was like that a little bit, but at the same time, otherwise would have been sitting by ourselves at a big chef's table. And there were these two instant friends next to us, so it's kind of cool.
Right. Maybe you felt lonely, and now you had friends.
Yeah, hey, that kind of thing. And we continue to spend big money.
If mom told you it was $375 a person, I can only imagine what it really was.
Okay, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
Speaking of spending a lot of money, did you got out of that Teddy Swims concert, right?
I did go to the Panthers game on Friday.
Okay, can I say something?
And I know boys needed me. And I delivered, and they delivered for me. It was a great night.
Excellent. Yes. I don't exaggerate much. I try not to anyway. I'm not big into hyperbole, but that game, given the stakes, that game 3 was one of the best sporting events I have ever seen in my entire career.
I mean, see, let's relax. I mean, the Panthers have had some wild ones just in this recent 3-year stretch, but it was up there in terms of just down 2-0 early.
Yeah,
you come back, you take the lead. No, you get a goal, and then they get a goal to extend it again. So you're sad, you're happy, you're sad. Then you get the lead, you're extra happy. You blow the lead, you go to overtime, and it's like by the time I at one point in overtime was just with Mike Ryan and my friend Alex, just like I got nothing left, boys. Like, I need these guys to just carry me and not down 3-0. Like, please just get a goal. I was like leaning back in my chair, just like I have nothing left to give.
Yeah, you were spent. And you were emotionally spent at that point.
They got a goal, and yesterday we had Sunday's game. We haven't gotten there yet, so we can't talk about that one.
Right.
But
and Brad Marchand, of all people, scores the goal. The guy we all used to hate, and now we all love him.
Yeah. Once again, we're doing this thing where we're talking about the game 3 when game 4 played last night.
I know you hate
this
that
comes out. So
okay, but I want to do that even more. You know what I'm going to do?
What?
I have exclusive. I am the Greg Cote Show's senior hockey correspondent, and before that game the other night, the best game ever in the history of sports, I had an exclusive interview with both Roy Bellamy, who you all know, and George Richards, an old friend of mine who publishes a website called Florida Hockey Now. 2 experts on the Panthers. I got their pregame predictions and a couple of other things, prediction for how the series is going to turn out and all that stuff. Fun couple of minutes, fun minute, actually, just a minute with each of them. So let's hear that right now. I'm here with the great Roy Bellamy, Le Batard Show producer and star, and with David Dwork, the star of the Hockey Show podcast. We're playing a little game here on the Greg Cote Show called Who's the Least Wrong? So the Panthers are down 2-0, and I am asking you before game 3, 1, who's going to win this game and the score, and 2, who's going to win the series and how many games?
I think Florida's going to win tonight 3-1.
Okay.
Probably going to be empty net goal. And while I don't think they're going to win 4 in a row, I think the Panthers are going to win the series. So that means they're going to win in 7.
So you remain optimistic, and you are seeing a big defensive game tonight.
Yes, I do. Okay. That is my vision of tonight's game and of the series.
Okay. Thank you, Roy Bellamy.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. We're with George Richards, the publisher, CEO, CFO, executive editor, and chief executive writer for Florida Hockey Now.
I'm also the driver.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. I'm talking to you just before game 3. Cats down 2-0. I need your prediction on tonight's game with the score and your prediction for the series and number of games.
All right, so we're going nil. So we're talking soccer.
Yes.
They look good. The pitch looks good today, Greg. The pitch looks good.
Okay, we're combining sports.
All right.
Okay.
They're wearing pink today too.
Yes.
With an
nice.
anchor. With an anchor.
I like it. And Messi is starting in goal.
Florida wins this game 4-2.
Okay.
They win this series in 7.
Wow. How about that? Okay. You have not lost the faith. You were leading the faith.
They got 3 games here.
Yeah. I hear you.
They got to win 4 out of 5.
Okay, so
it ain't going to be easy.
So you're seeing a little bit better on D, a big bob tonight.
They really need to tighten up, and I think that's why tonight they're running a whole different 4th line.
Yeah.
That's a defensive 4th line.
Gotcha.
Plus, there might be some illness. I don't know why Nico Sturm's not in. There might be something there, but that's a 4th line that plays defense, and I think that's what they want to tighten up on.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Gregory Cote.
All right. Nice chatting with you.
Man, I believe that is George Richards' first time on the show, so we're going to have to decide whether he cracks our top 100, and that is number 26, Greg Cote Show guest of all time, Roy Bellamy, that just joined us.
So. Yeah, Roy. Oh, wow. I'm impressed you have the list in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they both predicted that the Panthers were going to win this series, which if the Panthers won Sunday, I might agree with them.
Nothing like a prediction after game 3 that we air after game 4.
I know you hated that.
I don't hate it. I love George Richards and Roy. I hate your inability to grasp the concept that if we have to do games 3 and 4 before our podcasts come out, we shouldn't talk about the game after only game 3.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And you're just like, game 4's late on Sunday. We'll just forget about it. So sorry, audience, we are not up to date. Hopefully we won last night. Hopefully it's tied 2-2. If not, I'm pooping myself literally as we sit.
Yes.
And that's it.
By the way, speaking of apologizing to our audience, I want to mention that we had a couple of glitches in last week's Michael Gets Married episode that I wanted to apologize for because the sound of your mother's voice on the speech at the wedding reception, it was very tough to hear. I'm not sure why, but it was difficult to hear her. And then we also had like a 15-second gap of silence at one point, which I don't know how that happened.
Well, that was a moment of silence for Michael's freedom.
Okay. that was a funny ad lib by you.
Thank you.
You're a pretty funny guy.
Thank you.
You should be a stand-up comic.
Maybe I will.
You want to get to dad jokes and three facts Jack and a gripe?
I would love to.
Yeah, I bet you would, because you're big fans of those dad jokes.
He's always kind of thinking that his puns are in vogue. He cracks himself up like an egg with a yolk. And now Chris's morale is broke. Dad jokes.
What concert costs 45 cents a ticket?
I don't know.
50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
That's not bad.
That got a smile out of you.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. That's all-time top 10, because you rarely smile or compliment anything. Number 2. What do you say about an Italian chef who died?
I don't know.
He passed away. Another pretty good one.
No. That one was bad.
Number 1. What do you call a man with no nose and no body?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Wow. That one was better. The first and third one were decent.
Okay, thank you. Three facts Jack. Number 3. Tyrannosaurus Rex is a Greek and Latin phrase that in English translates to tyrant lizard king. Number 2. First man on the moon, Neil Armstrong's hair was sold in 2004 for $3,000.
I feel like Latin has a good PR agent.
You think?
I just feel like Latin is just used a lot. Like, it's the Latin meaning of this. Like, we don't do this for other languages. Like, I'm not often like, in Japanese, this means this.
Yeah.
And, like, in Spanish.
Is Latin still alive as a language? Who's speaking Latin?
Pig Latin.
Yeah.
Are there other animals that speak Latin other than pigs?
Yeah, that's a good point. Pig Latin still being spoken by hogs all over the earth. Number 1.
Oink oink.
I like this one. Number 1. Buzz Lightyear's original name was Lunar Larry. Isn't that great?
I think I like Lunar Larry better.
I do too. It's like on Seinfeld. The coffee shop, the rival coffee shop he was going to open was called what? Something Larry.
Wait, you mean in Curb Your Enthusiasm when he did open a rival?
And what was it called?
What was it? Mocha Joe?
Latte Larry.
Latte Larry, yeah.
I love him so much. Gripes of Wrath. Okay, this is going to be very unpopular. Let's cue the music.
Annoyances, complaints. Greg's got grievances out the ass, so buckle up, Buttercup. It's time for Greg Cote's Gripes of Wrath.
My gripe today, kids on sports teams aggressively panhandling for donations in front of grocery stores.
Wow.
Okay, hear me out.
There was teams doing this at the Panthers game the other night, like walking in, like they got me. If I have cash, I'm doing it. Like, I don't know what we're griping about here. Like, I'm pro this.
All right. The Girl Scouts selling cookies, not a problem. You're getting something in the exchange. If it's the sports team my kids used to play on, like sometimes the Plantation Stars are doing that in front of Publix, if I have a buck, I'll give it to them. Okay? But I may fish out a bill. But if it's another team that I don't know, I know you're angry with me right now. Okay?
But I just what's the logic of if it's my kid, as if by that logic nobody would donate at any of these things ever. Like, no, if it's my kid, yeah.
If it's my kid's former team, okay. If it's my kid's former team,
so if it was the Plantation Stars,
yeah, exactly.
Like, what's that? I mean,
okay. You know what I've done? I have mastered the art of appearing to be on my cell phone, pretending to be on my cell phone as I walk into the store, so that they don't dare come up to me because I'm on my phone. Okay.
I mean, if you're you have to at least just lie and say, I'll get you on the way out, and then walk out a different door.
Yeah, I sometimes do. I have done that. And I also say I don't have any cash, which is usually true.
No, but the smart ones have like barcodes available now.
I know. But
and then that's when you go, I don't know Venmo.
Exactly. I don't. Okay.
I love how you're on both sides. You're like, I don't have any cash and I don't know Venmo. Okay. So I literally, I'd love to, but I can't give you any money.
All right. I'm just trying to shop here. Okay. I don't want to be accosted by a 10-year-old beggar turned into a shameless beggar by his parent.
The logic of if I know the team or the kid, I'll of course do it.
Okay.
That nobody would ever donate if everyone had that thought process.
Okay.
Like I love how you're like, when my kid does it, a car wash when he was a kid, that's fine.
Okay, but here again.
But now that my kids are grown and I'm walking into Publix, I don't want, Johnny, little Timmy and Johnny asking me for $1.
Johnny and Mac by the railroad track, the world's largest, and that's a fact.
What?
The thing is, if it's if it's a car wash, you're getting something in the exchange. If it's a Girl Scout cookie, you're getting something in the exchange.
You know what you're getting in the exchange of just giving this little football team?
The satisfaction of helping kids.
Yeah. I mean, Granted, we all have the thought of, are these parents just going to go to Landlubbers after this and have a nice meal with this money?
Yes. Right.
Like everyone has that thought, and they might, and we may have done that. Like Lord knows what Steve Manis and Russell Lewis did with all that cash from those car washes.
They started restaurants.
That's what I mean. Like, let's not act like we were all up in like.
Okay, I'm just saying that's a gripe of wrath with me.
That's a good one because I disagree. I am okay. If I have cash on me, I will give a couple dollars to these teams.
Yeah, that gripe of wrath, I admit, paints me as sort of an asshole. Okay,
I mean a lot of them do, but
I know. But I'm just love me anyway. Please see my faults, see through them, and love me anyway. That's all I'm saying. What else we got here? Anything? Because I'm out of material.
No, should we cover game 2 of the Panthers?
You want to
before we get out of here
further?
It was a tough loss for the Panthers.
No, but game 2 sucked. Game 3 saved their series, but the game they played yesterday was another must win.
The one we can't talk about. That's not a must win. No. Don't do this anymore. Now that we got this game, even if we lost last night, we win in Toronto and we're back in our barn for 6. Like,
okay, so you like them winning 3 in a row if they lost last night?
I mean, it's hocky. Like, I'm not saying they would, but like it could go from 3-1 to a game 7. Like,
it's been easily a great series and a great playoff.
It's been, I hate talking about this before game 4, but it has been such a wild series in terms of random goals. Through 3 games, these teams are pretty even. Like we've seen like ricochet goals. Yeah, like the Barkey's first goal in game 3 was off the other guy's stick, and then the goal that barely went in, the replay, and then the Marchand winner. Like the games in Toronto, same thing. A lot of ricochet goals. Like it has been a random hockey series. Like there's no clear better team here. This is just like how hockey gods, please shine a light on us.
It's been incredible, and one of the tying goal against Florida in game 3 was a ricochet off Seth Jones' knee.
So I mean, like, and I know that happens a lot in hockey, but this series in particular has just been like random puck luck hockey.
It's been great. It's been great. Just as much as the Heat took a shit in the first round of the playoffs, the Panthers are being the Panthers. They're exciting.
And Carolina, Washington couldn't be less of a more. It's like such a boring series that you watch those games and you're like, oh, this is the good hockey. This is the fun hockey over here.
You're not kidding. I mean, you got Ovechkin.
Edmonton's been good. Edmonton-Vegas has been a great series, but that other East series, bad.
Yeah. Well, Edmonton is motivated because Connor McDavid is still out to prove that he's not overrated. So Edmonton's got that drive.
He mentioned that after the game. He was like, Mick Overrated is still right here in my locker. He has your article in his locker.
Yeah, Greg Cote, he calls me, which is proper, because it's the French pronunciation. Thank you for that, Connor. Continue to fight the odds. Be better than you've been. Okay, do it till you're satisfied. We're wrapping it up, everybody. I want to thank Jess again, Smetana. She's always great. We love her like a pet. We love her like she loves Willow.
You love her like you call a fart?
No. I love her like a real pet, like
an animal,
a 4-legged pet.
Okay.
Yeah. That's also an expression. I use all the time, but people mistake it for the pet that refers to flatulence.
I love you like a four-legged animal.
Yeah, that doesn't quite have the same ring. Thank you, everybody. We love you more than a pet, and we thank you every week for coming back.
We really petered out there.
Coming back, Jack. Nice chat.
Finally, you say Jack. On the Le Batard Show, it is so annoying how you will just often say the word back, and then the entire shipping container with our mics off, a lot of times not even on air, will just be like, Jack. And it's just like, you're just sitting there like, what?
I know. Yeah, I'm saving it for my show.
Yeah.
You know, we're coming back, Jack. All right. See you all next week.